Kyle is in Salt Lake City. Hey, Kyle, what's up?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
Yeah. So to make a long story short, my dad and I are the owners of a power sports dealership. There's, counting him and I, there's 5 of us working. And our revenue last year was $230,000. And, we're one of the oldest dealers around. And as a result of that, my grandfather and my dad, they've done things their way for so long that now I feel like I'm having to clean up the mess and make a situation better if possible.
What did you say the business is?
Power sports. So like boats, watercraft, outboards, snowmobiles.
And you only sold $230,000 of them?
Well, that was the revenue. We're smaller than most, I would say, but we're dedicated to our customers. And
wait a minute, I mean, that's like 10 boats.
Right. Like I said, we're small. Smaller than most. My grandfather wanted it,
or side by sides, or whatever. You sold 10 units last year. Not even one a month.
No, it's not. It's not quite accurate. I would say our overhead is pretty high with like the flooring and just general advertising and so on. So we probably sold around 40 wave runners, 20 boats, and then of course outboards and so on.
Something's messed up in the numbers you're giving me. Okay, maybe 2 or 3 million is your revenue. You don't do 40 wave runners for $200,000, dude.
Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons I was calling. Because with how small our business is, and when my grandfather passed away 10 years ago, he handled the bookkeeping, and then that kind of all just fell in my lap.
No, this is not bookkeeping. This is 6th grade math. Okay, stop a minute. Okay, if you're going to call me up and tell me you know how to run the business better than them, but you can't figure out how $230,000 is not your top line, you and I need to stop there for a minute. Okay, so your top line in this business has to be bazillion dollars. Did you say $230,000?
That was revenue, but
that is not revenue. Revenue is the total of all sales.
Okay, I guess I must be misunderstanding the question then.
Okay. Revenue that comes in is what your customers pay you in money.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me? And so it's the total of all those boats sold and all those Sea-Doos sold, which you understand is a whole lot more than $230,000.
Well, I must be thinking of gross. My gross was about $3 million.
Thank you. That's your gross revenues, okay? And then after your cost of goods sold, you might have a net profit of $230,000.
I was misunderstanding, so I apologize for that.
Okay, all right. We got to get straight on that before I can move into this. Okay, so now, now it's a 3rd generation. Does your grandfather still work there?
No, he passed away 10 years ago.
You told me that. I'm sorry. Okay, and how old is your dad?
He is 64.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 33.
And how long have you worked in the business?
My whole life.
Okay. And what is it you're wanting to do that your dad is unwilling to do?
Well, really, it's just expand the business. I feel he's content how things are, and our customer base has grown so much to the point that...
So if you could sell twice as many wave runners and twice as many boats, he would not want to do that.
He would argue that point, but I would have to agree with you.
I'm asking that as a question. I'm sorry.
Oh, so no, you're right.
You're saying he would not want to if the opportunity presented itself.
Correct.
But he would say he would do it.
Right. Well, and I think it's because he's been here his whole life, and it's just, his rut's so deep now that it's now a Grand Canyon. So, and, I want to to grow the business and make more, like my workload.
What do you want to do to grow
so
it? What is it you're wanting? What is it you're proposing to do?
Well, the main thing would be just get more employees.
Why would you get more employees if you don't make more sales?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out because, I don't have the same experience like you guys do, or, I'm still learning things myself. So I know one thing we needed to do a long time ago was expand the building space and make, like an office for people. I mean, it's something like you said, I can't remember when you said it, but you mentioned that you got to make the workplace fit the employee, not the employee fit the workplace. And, I'm trying to make it more attractive to folks, but it's hard to make changes when I'm not my majority owner of the business.
But none of that expands revenue.
Right. Right.
You're just
So
all you're doing is raising expenses. So you can't hire more people, and you can't change the office space and update it to make it more culturally friendly for the team that works there, which I don't disagree with either one of those things, but you can't do those things without a proposal to bring in revenue to pay for them.
Right.
So how are you going to make more sales? What are you proposing to do to make more sales?
Well, a lot of our bread and butter is actually service. And so it is getting more mechanics, and then we can take on more service work. That's where a lot more of the money is.
You're turning away service work.
Yeah, we're just, we're forced to, like my schedule right now, we're like a month out before I can get someone in on the schedule.
Okay.
We're that busy, so.
Do you have the physical space to add a mechanic? You have another bay?
We don't. No, that's one of the issues.
Okay. All right. So it's not just adding a mechanic. Somehow we've got to reconfigure the building to add a bay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, is there any land there that you could add a small metal building to be your next bay?
So where we're at, it is small, but I've actually been talking with a builder, because there's an old building next to us, but we own it. The plan would be to tear it down, build a new building there to expand the lot and just make it a better environment for everyone. Because right now, like one of the bays we have is outside, and with 100-degree heat, it's unpleasant.
So that building that's next door, why could you not just push some of the walls down and turn it into a couple of bays and throw a couple of mechanics in those bays in that building rather than push it down for right now and go make some money?
It was an idea. We've looked into that, but this building's so old. It's from the 40s. And
I don't care. I'm not trying to run it. I'm not trying to run it for 40 years. I'm trying to not spend money till I make some money. You keep knocking down buildings and rebuilding stuff and not adding revenue in our conversation. Expanding the lot is not necessarily going to add revenue, unless you're. Are you turning away customers to buy things?
No.
Okay, so you're not running out of inventory.
No, we're actually pretty good on inventory after all the nonsense during COVID.
Yeah, so expanding your lot to hold more inventory doesn't make sense.
Right.
Unless you come up with a marketing plan to sell more inventory.
Right.
Okay, so Kyle, to answer your overall question, your dad is not in a rut. Your dad's using wisdom. And he's challenging you to say, bring me ideas that pay for themselves, that bring in more revenue than they cost. That's what we do in business. We want ideas that make me more than they cost me. On the spot, not maybe, not hopefully, but make me more than they cost me. A lot of what you have proposed to me on this call have been just expenses. They were not revenue producing. And I tried to guide you back to a revenue producing thing, but oh no, the building's 1940. No, go show him how if we do these three things, we're going to make 3 times more than these 3 things cost us. And it's almost immediate. And your dad will do that because he has business acumen. But you just wanting to spruce the place up and basically cut your net profits down by, we're going to take out of that $230,000, we're going to spend $100,000 and everybody's got a nicer office. No, I'm not for that either. Put me in the same rut with him. I'm with you. I'm with him on that. Don't do that. So, but if you can come in and sit down and say, okay, Dad, here's a proposal to add, take the old building over there, and for a year, we could make this on 2 mechanics, and then let's take the money that we make on those 2 mechanics and push that building down and expand our lot and put some bays in and let it pay for itself as it goes. And then maybe we can expand our inventory and have a marketing plan to sell more inventory. And so run your service bays out further, upgrade everything, but do it with cash that you're making from your ideas, not taking it out of the profits. Bring in more money than your idea costs. And I think your dad will probably go along with you. But I think what he's pushing back on is you don't have a revenue idea to go with these expense ideas. At least in the discussion you and I have had today. Now, maybe I misunderstood you, but that's what I understood as we did this. So let's go back to the drawing board on that, and I think you'll probably get better progress with your dad at that point. And it'll make you a better businessman in the process of doing that. So good stuff.